Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Coet here once again behind the mic with First Class Radio. As you take a look at their offensive production over the course of this season, they have had 5 victories so far on the season that have been by way of the Mercy Rule, collecting 2 Mercy Rule victories against Leominster and also Mercy Rule wins against Framingham, Sturbridge, and Maine South. And in those 5 games on the season, Milford as a team batting .489, a ridiculous number in those victories. But if you look at the rest of the games on the season, the other 12 games that Milford has played on the season as a team, they are only batting .222. So a stark contrast in the games in which Milford has been able to jump out to early leads versus games in which Milford has been in the midst of a very close battle. So it's been a tale of 2 offenses so far this season. It's been a bit of all or nothing for Post 59 on the season, so they will look to have a more consistent approach at the plate, and no injuries to report for Milford Post 59 tonight, a clean bill of health. And that will send us right on now. It is time for our starting lineups for tonight's game versus the visitors. That is Shrewsbury Post 397. Leading it off is the left fielder Sam Shaw, with the right fielder Casey Boudreau batting second. Kevin Quinlivan bats third and plays center field, with Matthew Howard, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot. Alexander Black is tonight's starting pitcher for Shrewsbury, batting fifth, with Dan Quinlivan catching and batting sixth. Matt Bonolo plays third base and bats seventh, with Tyler McKeon, the shortstop, batting eighth, and batting ninth is the second baseman Matthew Jackson. And for Milford Post 59, their starting lineup, a big shakeup here for Post 59. Leading it off is the third baseman Andrew McMillan, with Kevin Lynch, the center fielder, in the number 2 spot. Matt DeCina moved down to the number 3 spot. He is the shortstop, with Blake Hill in as the cleanup hitter playing right field. Michael Ryan catches and bats fifth, with Aiden Wild batting sixth and playing left field. Kevin Valentine plays first base and bats seventh, with Mike Caffarella in as the DH batting eighth, and Brian Espinette is in the 9 spot. He plays second base. And this game getting underway about 7 minutes ahead of schedule. The first couple of pitches thrown as we completed the Milford lineup. It is a quick no-ball, 2-strike count on the leadoff hitter for Shrewsbury, Sam Shaw, who now sends a roller on the ground to second base. Fielded by Brian Espinette, he throws to first, and Sam Shaw is retired 4-3 for the first out in the game. And we wrap up our Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show with the game time temperature for tonight's game. That is brought to you by the Green Street Auto Spa. Treat your car or truck to a trip to the Green Street Auto Spa. It is currently 78 degrees here in Milford, but we do have a threat of some rain and thunder in the area over the course of the evening. We'll see if we are able to get this ball game into completion, as ball 1 is issued from the starting pitcher Kyle Nocera into Casey Boudreau. Boudreau sends one on the ground to first base. That is a fair ball, bobbled briefly by Kevin Valentine, but he is able to take it to the first base bag for out number 2. Your pitching matchup in this game, it is Kyle Nocera, who is already 2 outs deep in this top of the first inning for Milford. He will be opposed on the Shrewsbury side by Alexander Black. So far, a couple of quick ground ball outs for Kyle Nocera. And now dealing with the number 3 hitter, Kevin Quinlivan, the starting center fielder for Shrewsbury, who takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. Quinlivan, a right-handed bat, left-handed bat. He sends this pitch on a line to the backstop. Part of a tandem of brothers on this Shrewsbury team. There used to be a trio of Quinlivan brothers on this Shrewsbury roster. One of them no longer eligible for Legion Ball. The other 2 remained. Kevin Quinlivan up now, Dan Quinlivan in the 6th spot. It is now a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Hey, Q, babe, let's go, kid.
2 outs and the base is empty in the top of the first inning. Nocera's next pitch, it's hit on the ground to first base, fielded by Kevin Valentine. He will take it to the bag, and a good start for the lefty Nocera, able to gather in a 1-2-3 top of the first inning. It will be Milford Post 59 taking their first swings of this ball game when we come back next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Welcome back to coverage of Milford Legion baseball on WMRC First Class Radio. I am Tim Coette, Craig D'Alessandro over in our WMRC studios as we get set for the bottom of the first inning here at Pheno Field. Milford Post 59 taking on Shrewsbury Post 397. An early first pitch here today, so we've already seen the completion of the top half of this first inning. Kyle Nocera with a 1-2-3 frame, so now it will be Alexander Black taking the mound for Shrewsbury. He has seen limited action so far on the season for Shrewsbury. This is just his 4th appearance of the year. A 1-0 record, a 2.00 ERA for Alexander Black, just 7 innings pitched. He's allowed a total of 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. He has walked 6 and struck out 12. He does have a save to his credit. A pair of left-handed starting pitchers dueling here at Pheno Field tonight. Nocera the lefty, Black also a left-handed thrower as he will get set to deal with this new-look Milford lineup. Andrew McMillan in the leadoff spot, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. You had to expect that after back-to-back games in which Milford failed to score a run, just 3 hits combined in their games on Saturday and Sunday. And so, as expected, Coach DeVito making some changes. This top 3 for the Milford lineup now: Andrew McMillan, Kevin Lynch, and Matt DeCina down in that number 3 spot. As Andrew McMillan is now ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Black back into his windup. Here is the pitch, and this is a line drive back up the middle. That is through for a base hit. And that is indeed a welcome sight for Post 59 fans. They did see a leadoff base hit for their team in the game here on Sunday night, and then did not see another hit for the remainder of the night. But Andrew McMillan in that leadoff spot, getting it started with a single, and now it is Kevin Lynch out of the number 2 spot for tonight. The righty turns as if to bunt. He pulls the bat back, takes the pitch for a ball, a snap throw down to first, and McMillan is back safely with a dive. A 1-0 count on Lynch. Here is the pitch. Again, looking to bunt was Kevin Lynch, but the pitch spun him off the plate for ball 2. Kevin Lynch carrying a .296 batting average. A check over at first base. The batting average is nearly across the board for Milford, taking a steady tumble over the last 2 days. Here is the next pitch. That misses again. 3 balls and no strikes. Now the count for Lynch, who was looking to sacrifice, but now he finds himself ahead in the count. Here's the 3-0 now from Black, and that's just on the outside edge for a called strike 1. Milford as a team heading into Saturday's game against Framingham was batting .326. That team batting average now all the way down to an even .300. Only 3 total hits for the Post 59 bats over their last 2 games. They do have the leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the first inning against Shrewsbury. As Lynch continues to show patience at the plate, he's yet to swing the bat. The count now going from 3-0 to 3-2. Black getting the call on a couple of pitches on the outside edge. Now the 3-2 pitch is fouled away. It is DeCina waiting on deck, followed by Blake Hill. Here's the payoff pitch. The runner takes off. It's swung on and missed for strike 3. The throw down to second base tails away from the second baseman, Matthew Jackson, and that allows McMillan to reach safely with the steal. But a strikeout of Kevin Lynch brings the first out of the bottom of the first inning. Milford did not see a runner reach second base in that game against Northbridge on Sunday. They do have McMillan down there now with one out, and the first pitch into Matt DeCina is up over his head for ball one. Black sets at the belt, now fires. That's a called strike. Shrewsbury above Milford in the zone 4 standings right now. The 1-ball-1-strike pitch. This is lifted in the air out to right center field. Ranging over is Kevin Quinlivan, the center fielder. Into the gap, he makes the catch. So Andrew McMillan reaching to lead off the inning. He's now at second base with 2 outs. And it's up to Blake Hill. A first inning run would go a long way to boost the confidence of this Milford offense that you would certainly think may be lacking in that department after struggling mightily in their previous 2 games. Blake Hill, the lefty, steps in. The lefty Black fires. The pitch right on the inside edge for a called strike. Shrewsbury entering today's action in 4th place in Zone 4 with a record of 10-6. Milford in 7th place at 9-8 as Blake Hill sends this pitch slowly towards the pitcher's mound. Fielding it was the pitcher Black. A little bit off balance as he traveled over towards first, but he flips to the bag in time for the out that ends the inning. So Milford gets the leadoff runner on base, but McMillan stranded at second. We have completed 1 inning now from Pheno Field. It is scoreless between Milford and Shrewsbury. You are listening to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio and streaming online at WMRCDailyNews.com. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on WMRC First Class Radio, brought to you in part by neither side able to produce a run in the first inning of this game. Nocera notching a 1-2-3 top half of the inning. Milford getting a leadoff single in the bottom half of the first, but could not do any more damage. So scoreless as we enter into the second inning. Nocera dealing with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Shrewsbury lineup. Matthew Howard, the first baseman, leads it off. He sends this pitch hard up over the backstop. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count on the right-handed hitting first baseman, Matthew Howard. He now sends a pitch on the ground towards third. Ranging over is McMillan. He makes the play and the throw for the first out of the inning. Andrew McMillan moving well to his left to make that play. We saw a couple of balls slip through the left side of the infield during the loss to Northbridge, where it seemed like either McMillan or DeCina could have made the play. But a nice job there by McMillan. 5-3 ground out that opens the top of the second inning, and now a first pitch ball into Alexander Black, pitcher versus pitcher in this at bat. As this one is popped up in foul ground over by the third base dugout. Michael Ryan and Andrew McMillan go as far as they can, but neither can make the play. And it evens the count at a ball and a strike. Kyle Nocera leads the Milford Post 59 pitching staff with 3 wins. He has a 3-1 record and a 1.94 ERA. Nocera has been in a very good groove. He's now pitched 21 2/3 innings on the season heading into tonight's action, allowing a total of 20 hits, 10 runs, only 6 of those earned, walking 13 and striking out 21 batters. Also leads the staff in that department. Also leads the team with 21 2/3 innings pitched. Opposing batters hitting .247 off of Nocera. Meanwhile, it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count for Nocera against Alexander Black, his counterpart, as he gets another foul pop-up off to the left, and again, it will be out of play. The left-handed batting Black steps out of the box. Black, a lefty pitcher and also a lefty bat. Ready's now for the 2-2. It's up and in. That one had Black backing out of the box. He's back in now with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Here's the pitch, and it's sent foul off the backstop. Once again, we see a large showing of away fans here at Pheno Field. The Shrewsbury crowd traveling well here behind home plate. The Milford crowd, for the most part, concentrated down the right field line. Next pitch is rolled foul over towards the first base dugout. It keeps it at a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Black making Nocera work here with 1 out and the base is empty. Another payoff pitch, and this one is swung on and missed. Black down by way of the K. It's the first strikeout for Nocera. 2 outs now in the second inning. That leaves it up to the catcher, Dan Quinlivan. The second half of the brother tandem. Nocera stares over his glove for the sign. And his first pitch is in for a called strike 1. Kyle Nocera throwing to Michael Ryan. This is the first time we've seen Michael Ryan behind the plate since June 16th. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. A good fastball gets by the bat of Dan Quinlivan, and it's a no-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs in the inning. I'm sure Coach DeVito was very happy to be able to insert Michael Ryan back behind the plate, such a trusted presence back there, although kudos has to be given to Tyler Monahan for the work he has done back there as well in his first year. It's been the combination of Monahan and Jeff Basazzi working behind the plate, while Michael Ryan worked his way back from that thumb injury. Here is an 0-2 pitch. It's up and away. So a good sign that that injury is fully behind Michael Ryan as we head into this stretch drive in the season. The 1-ball, 2-strike pitch doesn't miss by much. Perhaps a little bit high, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count now as Quinlivan looks to battle back.
Hey, base hit right here, Ford. Get started with 2.
The bases are empty as the 2-2 pitch now sails away.
Let's go, Dan. Win the
And so Quinlivan is hung tough, and now the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Nocera into his windup. Here is the payoff pitch, and it is down in the dirt for ball 4. So credit the Shrewsbury catcher with a tough at bat, and it pays off as he works the 2-out walk. It gives Shrewsbury their first base runner of the night, and it gives a chance to the third baseman, Matt Bonolo. Michael Ryan going out to chat briefly with Nocera after that walk. Nocera now from the stretch. Here is the pitch. It's a line drive out to center field. In comes Kevin Lynch. Did he make the catch? Yes, indeed he did. Another diving grab for Kevin Lynch. He was playing relatively deep out in center field. He came in at full speed. Another headlong dive and another sparkling play from the solid center fielder, Kevin Lynch. It robs Bonolo of a 2-out hit, and it ends things here in the top of the second inning. Still scoreless between Milford and Shrewsbury as you listen to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Back here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. It remains scoreless between Milford and Shrewsbury, now into the bottom half of the second inning. We have seen some terrific diving catches out of Kevin Lynch out in center field, as this is now his second season with the club, and showing off that glove once again on that final play of the top half of the second inning. A diving catch out in shallow center field that robbed Matt Bonolo of a 2-out hit. It brings the Milford bats back up to the plate as Michael Ryan leading it off. He takes the first pitch of the inning for ball 1 against Alexander Black. Black allowing a leadoff single last inning, but then was able to get the next 3 batters he faced in order. The 2-0 pitch now to Ryan. That is in for a strike. Michael Ryan comes into play tonight at .267 with the batting average. 8 hits on the season in 30 total at-bats. He has 6 runs batted in. He's now ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. The next one on the way from Black, and this one is fouled up over the backstop, and that sends us to a 3-2 count. We saw Milford struggle at the beginning of the season against left-handed pitching. We'll see if they can make an adjustment here against the lefty Black. Here is the 3-2 pitch. It's sent foul off to the left. Dan Gilligan of Sturbridge allowing just 3 runs to Milford in game 1 on the season. Then it was Mike Stamus of Northborough, the lefty, who allowed just 1 run to post 59 as Milford lost those first 2 games on the season. They're going to get their leadoff man on base for the second straight inning as Michael Ryan is able to work a leadoff walk. Ryan now at first base ahead of Aiden Wild, back in the starting lineup after having Sunday night off. And Aiden Wild will start out ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 in at the knees of Aiden Wild. Aiden had a chance to play back-to-back games out of the number 2 spot in the lineup. Was not able to collect a hit in those 2 games and then was given the night off on Sunday as he jumps ahead now 2 balls into strike. In Milford's last victory, that was on Friday in Leominster, Aiden Wild went 0 for 3. He did have a walk and a run scored in the game, but struck out and bounced into a double play. As the runner takes off from first, the pitch is swung on and missed. The throw down from Quinlivan is very high. A leaping grab made by the second baseman Jackson to keep that ball from going to the outfield, but it is a stolen base for the catcher, Michael Ryan. A 2-2 pitch now into Aiden Wild, and it's fouled away this time off to the right. Headed out towards the Fino Field parking lot. A look in now for Black to his battery mate, Dan Quinlivan. It's a 2-2 count. The right-handed hitting Aiden Wild, one of the few righties in the lineup facing the left-handed throwing Alexander Black. Here's the 2-2, and it's fought off foul again. Overall on the season, though, Aiden Wild still batting up over 300 at 325. He's tied for the team lead in RBIs at 10, tied for the second spot in RBIs with 10. It's Blake Hill who leads with 12. Another 2-2 pitch. This is a hard ground ball through the left side of the infield. Rolls out into left. They'll hold Michael Ryan up at third base. That one not traveling too far out there and left, gotten to quickly by Sam Shaw. But Milford is able to grab their second hit. Their first 2 batters have reached here in the second inning. And it puts runners at the corners with no outs for Kevin Valentine. And a good opportunity for Post 59 to take the first lead. Before Valentine sees the pitch, they'll send a pickoff throw over to first. Aiden Wild did not have much of a lead. He's able to get back standing. Kevin Valentine had started each of his first games in his Legion career in the lineup in the cleanup spot, moved down in the order, and he swings at the first pitch and drives it deep out to right field, but it is a foul ball, taking aim at that 375-foot marker down the right field line, but that one just kicked foul. Valentine did not get cheated on that swing. He was ready, but just could not keep it fair. A no ball, one strike count now. The set for Black. The runner takes off early. The throw down to second base is not in time. Aiden Wild went on the very first move he saw out of Alexander Black. He wasn't even quite in the set position when Wild took off. Black sent the throw over to first base, but by the time Howard was able to send the throw to second, Wild was in there safely, so they had him picked off, but Wild somehow able to get his way out of it and ends up with a stolen base. It's now a one ball, one strike count on Valentine. Two runners in scoring position and nobody out. Here's the windup and the pitch. That is in for a called strike two. This is Kevin Valentine's 13th game on the season. Each of those first 12 games, he operated out of the cleanup spot in the lineup, but struggling over his last 4 games, and so Coach DeVito giving him an opportunity to move down in the lineup, get some of the pressure off. As he now sends this ball through the left side of the infield for a hit. Around to score comes Michael Ryan. They hold Aiden Wild at third. So the lineup shuffle paying dividends here early. Valentine down in this number 7 spot. He comes through with a hard ground ball single through the left side that scores the first run of the game, and that finally breaks up the scoreless drought for Milford Post 59 after 15 consecutive scoreless innings. They are able to come through with a run here in the bottom of the second inning to take a 1-0 lead. Still no outs in the inning. Runners at the corners for the designated hitter, Mike Caffarella. Caffarella takes the first pitch for a called strike one. Mike now appearing in his 8th game of the season. An even count now of 1 ball and 1 strike. That last pitch from Black missing a little bit low. It is Aiden Wild now who is the lead runner at third base with Kevin Valentine at first. He is held on, and they'll throw over in that direction, but Valentine able to get back. The return throw from the first baseman nearly gets past the pitcher. But Black able to hold on to it, now back on the pitching rubber. An even count of a ball and a strike on Caffarella. Here's the next pitch, a breaking ball that stays inside. Defensively for Shrewsbury, it is Dan Quinlivan behind the plate with Matt Bonolo at third, Tyler McKeon at short, Matthew Jackson at second, and Matthew Howard at first. Left to right in the outfield, Sam Shaw, Kevin Quinlivan, and Casey Boudreau. The head coach for Shrewsbury is Frank Vaccaro Sr. 3 ball, 1 strike pitch now on the way to Caffarella. A big swing, but he comes up empty. And that will run the count full. We'll see if they hold Valentine at first base on this 3-2 pitch. They do, as it is swung on and missed. Caffarella with his 6th strikeout on the season. It brings the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. Runners remain at the corners. Now for the number 9 hitter, Brian Espinette. Espinette takes the first pitch inside for ball one. It continues to be a very gray and ominous sky overhead here at Pheno Field. Breeze blowing in, another big jump for a Milford runner as Valentine was off prior to the pitch from Alexander Black. This time he came in to the plate with the pitch and Espinette fouled it away, so Valentine will retreat. We've seen a couple of runners just guess on that first move from the pitcher. And now Valentine scrambles back to the bag on a pickoff check. And now they're going to call the balk. They will call the balk on Alexander Black. That will allow Kevin Valentine to move down to second base and the runner at third base, Aiden Wild, to come in to score. And this has also drawn the disagreement from the head coach for Shrewsbury. He came quickly out of the dugout, but seemed to accept the ruling from the umpire once they talked it over, much more calm as he heads back to the dugout. So the balk charged, and it gives Milford their second run. And it moves another runner into scoring position as now Espinette lines one up the middle. That's through for a base hit. They'll wave Kevin Valentine to the plate. Here comes the throw from center field. It's cut off behind the pitcher's mound. An RBI single for Brian Espinette, and it now puts Milford on top 3-0. So Milford finally coming through with some offense. They're starting to string things together here in the second inning. A walk to lead things off. Then back-to-back singles by Aiden Wild and Kevin Valentine that produced the first run of the inning. The second run coming home on a balk. Charge to Alexander Black, and now Brian Espinette coming through with an RBI single. A 3-0 score for Milford post 59. They'll have Espinette at first base as the lone base runner with still just one out in the inning, back up to the top spot in the lineup, and Andrew McMillan. A long talk on the pitcher's mound between Black and the Shrewsbury head coach before this at-bat takes place. The runner immediately takes off for second. Espinette a bit of an awkward slide as he went down into second base, but he gets there well ahead of the throw. And getting some comedic reactions from his teammates in the dugout after that slide. Not earning any style points with the slide was Espinette. And this has been some of the most aggressive base running we have seen out of Milford all season. They're a team that in the past has stolen their share of bases. It hasn't been as big a factor of their game here in 2015. 2 stolen bases now in the game here today. That brings their total for the season up to 16. And a called strike into Andrew McMillan now up for the second time. He's up there with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. McMillan singled in his last at bat. He was stranded on the bases in the first inning, but Milford having some better offensive luck here in the second. Here is the 1-2 pitch, and it's fought off foul straight towards the backstop. Over to pick up the loose baseball is Kevin Lynch from the on-deck circle. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning, and a runner in scoring position. The pitch is a liner out to center field. In comes Sam Shaw, and he makes the sliding catch. That one was sinking fast. Shaw into a knee slide as he came in and was able to make the grab. A fine play from the left fielder for Shrewsbury, Sam Shaw. It robs McMillan of what would have been his second hit. 2 outs now in the inning. Espinette remains at second base, and now here is Kevin Lynch. He was a strikeout victim in his last at-bat. Black sets a long wait, too long, as Lynch is granted time. Taps the bat on the plate. Before settling in, here is the pitch. It's in for a called strike one. A 3-0 lead for Milford, a chance to tack on at least one more. They have a runner in scoring position. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball that's left outside, and it evens the count at 1-1. Kevin Lynch, like most of the Milford bats, going 0 for back on Sunday night against Northbridge. He pops this pitch up foul down the right field line. Over is the first baseman, Howard. All the way over to the edge of the field of play, but that one beyond. The lights on here at Pheno Field. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. The next one is hit hard on the ground. It skips out to shortstop. McKeon fields and throws to first base. He had the infield umpire shielding him most of the way, but he hung with it, made the play and the throw to first base for the out that ends the inning. But Milford sends 7 men to the plate in the bottom half of the second inning. They score 3 times and finally able to break out of that offensive funk. They take a 3-0 lead over Shrewsbury here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Milford collecting 3 runs on 3 hits in the bottom of the second inning to take their first lead in quite some time. It hasn't been since they finished off their 10-0 Mercy Roll victory over Leominster back on Friday that they have even sniffed a lead. But a 3-0 margin as Kyle Nocera gets the top of the third inning underway. A 1 ball, 1 strike count on the number 8 hitter, Tyler McKeon. The windup and the pitch from Nocera. This is lifted out to center field. A much easier play for Kevin Lynch. He's able to make the grab for the first out of the inning. Another busy day of games around Zone 4 here today. Before we get you updated on today's action, we do want to catch you up on all the final scores from yesterday with Milford having the day off. But first, the pitch into the number 9 hitter, Matthew Jackson, misses inside for ball 1. There were a total of 5 games around Zone 4 yesterday. A 2 ball, no strike count now on Jackson. Northbridge defeated Sturbridge yesterday, I should say, by a final score of 14-3. It was Maine South over Shrewsbury in 10 innings by a final score of 6-5. Northborough with a big victory over Leominster, 9-8 in 9 innings. Wachusett topped Cherry Valley yesterday, 8-1, and Framingham with a 15-3 decision over Eastside in 6 innings. A Mercy Rule victory for Framingham, 15-3. Those were your scores from yesterday, as now Kyle Nocera, not what he was looking to do here. He walks the number 9 hitter with 1 out in the third inning.
Hey, watch the ball. He threw a couple of them.
Puts a man on as we head back up to the top spot in the lineup. Sam Shaw, who grounded out to second base his first time up. Nocera now from the stretch.
Hey, you didn't want that one.
And that is strike 1. That's the second walk now for Nocera. The only 2 base runners that Shrewsbury has had so far in the game have come via the base on balls.
Whoa! Whoa!
And a 1-1 count now as that pitch sailed well up and away.
Get him a map to find the bucket.
Get you updated on tonight's action from around Zone 4 a bit later on in the broadcast. First, a 1-1 pitch into Shaw. This is perhaps a little bit high, and it's a 2 ball, 1 strike count. A few close pitches not going Nocera's way here in the early innings. Here's the 2-1. This is lifted out to shallow right field. A long run in for Blake Hill. He slides, he can't make the catch. And down into second base goes Matthew Jackson. a sinking liner out into right field. It was a good aggressive play by Blake Hill, but he just could not make the catch. And that will allow Shrewsbury to bring the tying run to the plate. One out in the inning, runners at first and second base now for Casey Boudreau, who grounded out 3 unassisted in the first inning. Sarah surveys the base runners, now comes to the plate with a called strike 1. Jackson out to a decent lead at second base. Shaw leads at first, he's not held on. Valentine playing in behind. And a foul ball brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes. Milford not only shaking the lineup here tonight, but also shaking up their uniform choice, a typical Coach DeVito decision to a losing streak. Wearing the Navy jerseys here at home tonight, typically their road look. As the 0-2 pitch misses just off the outside edge, Boudreau took a peek but held up on the swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on for Shrewsbury. The next one is swung on and missed. That time, Boudreau could not hold up on the swing. He chased the outside pitch. And he is the second strikeout victim for Kyle Nocera in the game. Brings the second out in the inning and leaves things up to Kevin Quinlivan. Quinlivan also grounded out to first base back in the first inning. The left-handed batter facing the left-handed throwing Kyle Nocera, who sends a pickoff throw down to second base with no one covering the bag. The ball ends up out in center field and both runners will advance. A total miscommunication for Milford as Nocera thought there was a pickoff play on at second base. He nearly threw the ball right into the runner. It ended up going out into center field, and now big trouble potentially as Jackson is able to move up to third and Shaw down to second on a costly throwing error by the pitcher. Nocera losing a bit of composure here now as he hits Quinlivan with the pitch. He will head down to first base and Shrewsbury will have the bases loaded. It was 2 outs with runners at first and second, then the throwing error, now a hit by pitch, and Shrewsbury with the tying runs aboard with 2 outs. A big chance for Matthew Howard, who takes a pitch up and away for ball 1. Kyle Nocera clearly rattled here in this inning, and Coach DeVito senses as much. He heads out to the mound to try to calm the lefty down. In from shortstop to join the conference comes Matt DeCina. Kyle Nocera, a very emotional presence out on the field, brings a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, and a little bit ramped up here after the mental mistake. The conference now broken up by the home plate umpire. Everyone retreats to their positions. It is a 1-ball, no strike count on Matthew Howard with 2 outs in the inning and a Shrewsbury runner at every base. Here's the pitch. And it's a hard ground ball up the middle, past the dive of Espinette out into center field. 1 run comes in, a second run will score. A 2-out, 2-run single for Matthew Howard. And from a 3-run lead for Milford, it's now down to a 1-run advantage. Shrewsbury grabs a pair, and it's now 3-2. Shrewsbury fans now into it, as both Matthew Jackson and Sam Shaw came around to score on that single. Kevin Quinlivan holds up at second base, and now first pitch swinging Alexander Black sends it in the air, foul and out of play. This has developed rapidly for Shrewsbury in this 3rd inning. A no ball, 1 strike count. Here is the pitch. It's a roller foul. And Black is down in the count, 0-2. Nocera now hoping to escape the inning with the Milford lead still intact. Kevin Quinlivan, a lead off of second base with Howard leading off of first. Here's the pitch, it's a little bit up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nocera has thrown a lot of pitches in this inning. Here's the 1-2, and that's too far inside. It doesn't appear that he's had a great feel for his off-speed arsenal in this third inning. It's now a 2-2 count. The next pitch on the way, and it's another breaking ball that stays high.
Hey, be on time, let's go.
3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. Both runners will have a chance to get a head start. Those runners now with leads off of first and second base. They go, here's the pitch. It's swung on and missed for strike 3. Nocera needing a strikeout right there. He gets it. And the inning finally comes to an end, but a good response inning from Shrewsbury. They are able to send 7 men to the plate. They score 2 times. And we head to the bottom of the third inning. It is a 3-2 score. Milford still out in front, but barely, here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. So the offense coming in bunches for both of these teams. Milford grabbing the first 3 runs of the game in the bottom of the third inning. They take a 3-0 lead, but Shrewsbury answers right back with a pair of runs in the top. Or Milford scoring their 3 runs, I should say, in the bottom half of the second inning. Shrewsbury answering in the top of the third with 2 runs of their own. So it is now a 3-2 game. And Milford will look to build that lead back up as they send batters 3, 4, and 5 to the plate against Alexander Black. He deals in strike 1 to Matt DeCina. DeCina now sends a pitch out to left field, but it hangs up for Sam Shaw, who makes the catch. DeCina, a couple of flyouts so far in the game, 0 for 2 in his debut as the team's number 3 hitter. The first out recorded here in the third, and now it is Blake Hill, who was 0 for 1. Hill takes the first pitch low for a ball. The windup and the pitch from Black. And that is in for a called strike. 1 out and the base is empty in the bottom of the third. Hill asks for time. It's granted. A total of 7 games being played around the zone tonight, with this game included. The 1-1 pitch into Hill is sent hard down the left field line, but foul and off into the woods. The schedule with 4 games that started within the 5 o'clock hour, a 5:15 start for Northbridge at Framingham, 5:30 Sturbridge at Wachusett, 5:30 North County at Leominster, and also Eastside at Maine South getting underway at 5:30. Framingham participating in a doubleheader. That first game against Northbridge, the second game against Grafton Hill. That game getting underway at 7:30, and then the late game, Northborough at Cherry Valley, getting underway about 15 minutes from now. We do have some final scores from those earlier games. We'll get to those in just a bit. First, a 2-2 pitch into Blake Hill. It's up over his head. He had to duck out of the way. And it is a full count. Hill working himself back into this at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's hit in the air out to center field. Back goes Quinlivan. Now he circles around, and he makes the catch. Not deep enough off the bat of Hill to get it over the head of the Shrewsbury center fielder. 2 quick outs in the third as Alexander Black looks for a bounce back inning, also looks to hold Milford off the scoreboard after his team came back with a pair of runs. Dealing now with Michael Ryan, who looks at strike one on the outside part of the plate. Ryan walked to lead off last inning, touched off the 3-run rally. Now an even count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryan coming around to score on the RBI single by Kevin Valentine for the game's first run. The pitch now misses well outside, and the count goes to 2-1. Black back into his windup. Here's the pitch. It's lofted foul and out of play over the third base dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No runners on for Milford. Black into his windup. Here's the pitch. Looked like he slipped off the mound a bit as he delivered that one in. It ended up outside for a ball. It's now a 3-2 count. Here is the pitch, and it's chopped on the ground towards second base. A high hop for Matthew Jackson. Perfectly placed to make the play and the throw to first base, and it is a 1-2-3 inning for Alexander Black here in the bottom of the third. It sends us on to the 4th inning of play. It is a 3-2 score. Milford in front of Shrewsbury here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, WMRC First Class Radio. As we enter into the 4th inning from Pheno Field, a 3-2 lead for Milford over Shrewsbury. We'll take the time to bring you an update from the Boston Red Sox, beginning a brief 2-game series at Fenway against the Miami Marlins. Some interleague play going on up in Boston, and the Red Sox have an early 1-0 lead over Miami, getting their run on an RBI single by Ryan Hannigan in the 2nd inning. The Sox with a run on 3 hits. Miami just a single hit so far. Wade Miley getting the start for the Sox. Kyle Nocera getting the start here for Milford, back out on the mound, looking for better results here in the 4th inning. His first pitch into Dan Quinlivan is a ball. Now a fastball misses low, 2 balls and no strikes. Nocera continuing to work at a quick pace. Here is his 2-0. And that misses up and away. 3 balls and no strikes, in danger of walking the leadoff man. And now there's a called strike right at the knees. Looks like we'll start to see some activity getting going in the Milford bullpen. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's swung on and missed. That pitch may have been outside for ball 4, but Quinlivan aggressively swinging away. And the count is now full. As now Quinlivan steps out of the box, it is Michael Farrell who will start to loosen over in the Milford bullpen. There's the payoff pitch. And it's a chopper back towards the center of the infield, fielded by Kyle Nocera. He slings it to first base for the out. Kyle Nocera, a good fielding pitcher. Pitchers unafraid to field their position here in Legion baseball. Nocera, one of the better defenders on the mound. He's able to get the first out after falling behind 3-0. And now Matt Bonolo fouls away the first pitch he sees for strike 1. Bonolo lined out to center field on that terrific catch by Kevin Lynch to end the top half of the 2nd inning. He sends a hard line drive down the left field line, but that is foul. Over toward the spectators over down the left field line, some of them out on lawn chairs next to the set of bleachers down there. And it's a quick no ball, 2-strike count on Bonolo. Wind up and the pitch from Nocera. It's a little bit high. Again, we will start to get you updated on some of the final scores from around zone 4. First, the 1-2 pitch. It's driven in the air out to right field towards the line. A long run for Blake Hill. He dives. He can't secure it in the glove. It bounces out, a fair ball. And down to second base goes Bonolo. Blake Hill has nearly made a couple of terrific catches here tonight, but he has just not been able to secure them in the glove. He went into a dive. He ended up landing on the foul line. He had the ball in the glove, but it bounced out in foul territory, but as Hill made contact with it in fair ground, it is a fair ball. And it's 2 bases for Bonolo. That's a tough call. It'd be a tough error on Hill. But the tying run now in scoring position with 1 out for Shrewsbury. Down to the number 8 spot in the lineup in Tyler McKeon. The 0-1 pitch, that misses outside.
Oh, leave that one away. Get it right, hang it, it will dry.
1-1 the count. McKeon flew out to center field his last time up. He pops this pitch up foul behind first base, but out of play. Tyler McKeon batting .179 on the season. He has 10 hits in 56 at-bats. He does have 7 runs batted in for Shrewsbury. About to see a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. And it's another high breaking ball. The curveball has not been a reliable weapon in Nocera's arsenal here tonight. Here's the 2-2. And a close one just low. And that will run it to a 3-ball, 2-strike count. 1 out in the top of the 4th, the tying run in scoring position. Here's the pitch, and it's high for ball 4. So after the tough luck error out in right field, now a walk, and it puts runners at first and second base with 1 out. Now for the number 9 hitter, Matthew Jackson. Jackson with a .262 batting average for Shrewsbury. He swings at the first pitch and lines it out to left field, but positioned well was Aiden Wild. Nearly in his tracks, he's able to make the catch. Looked good off the bat for Jackson, but it goes as out number 2. Holds the base runners where they are for now. Bonolo at second, McKeon at first. And back up to the top spot in the lineup in Sam Shaw, who singled and scored a run last inning. He holds as the first pitch bounces in. It rolls behind the right-handed batter. Michael Ryan got to it quickly. No advance from Bonolo at second.
Come on, Sam, Paul.
So it is a 1-ball, no strike count.
Hey, Shaw! 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 Hi, Shaw! Shaw!
Nocera's next pitch. This is hit on the ground towards shortstop. In and out of the glove of Decina, and he will just hold on to it. It took a high bounce at the end. It may have actually bounced off of the chest of Decina and out in front of him, and once he couldn't get a quick grasp on the ball, he did not want a chance to throw to first.
Casey at the bat!
So an infield single for Sam Shaw, and once again, Shrewsbury will have the bases loaded. First pitch swinging Casey Boudreau lifts it out to right field, but it will be an easy play for Blake Hill to make the catch. And Shrewsbury will leave the bases loaded here in the top of the 4th inning. They have stranded 6 men on base over the last 3 innings, and Milford is able to escape the top half of the 4th with their 1-run lead still intact. 3-2 Milford as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Kyle Nocera has been flirting with danger through these last 3 innings, but he was able to dance his way out of a bases-loaded 2-out jam as Casey Boudreau swung at the first pitch and ended up flying out to right field. And so it remains a 3-2 lead for Milford as we enter into the bottom half of the fourth inning. Aiden Wild leads it off with a chopper to shortstop. It eludes the glove of Tyler McKeon and will roll out into left. So that's the second unexpected hop we've seen over at shortstop. We saw it for Matt DeCina just a few moments ago. And now for Tyler McKeon, who thought he had that ball lined up, it ended up taking a tricky hop on the infield and twisted off to McKeon's right. Snuck off the glove, and the E6 allows Milford to get their leadoff base runner aboard. One error now in the game for Shrewsbury, a pair of errors for Post 59. Wild now leads off of first base as Kevin Valentine comes to the plate again. Wild off immediately on first move from Black, as Black sends the pickoff throw to first base, but again, Wild is safe at the second base bag. He's managed to do that twice tonight. Just taking off on that first move from the pitcher. And that relay from first base down to second, not getting there in time. And now here's Valentine. He'll rope it down the first base line. Rolling down into the right field corner. Aiden Wild on his horse. He rounds third base. He will come in to score as Kevin Valentine slides into second base with the RBI double. And Milford is able to up their lead to 4-2. Well, that did not take long. Wild reached on the error, the unconventional steal of second base, and then the hard shot from Valentine. And Kevin Valentine now 2 for 2 with a pair of RBIs, so he has responded well. Being moved down in the lineup. He is now in scoring position at second base. The Shrewsbury infield in tight at the corners with Caffarella at the plate. Up now with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one the count. The pitch from Black. That's down in the dirt. It bounces away up high off the backstop, and that allows Kevin Valentine to move up to third base. Wild pitch. And now this will bring Coach Vaccaro back out of the dugout. He's made a couple of trips to the mound here in the early innings. Alexander Black was able to have a nice inning in the third, a 1-2-3 inning. But struggling again here in the fourth. It is still a conversation right now between the coach and his starting pitcher. It's now a 2-ball, 1 strike count on Caffarella when the game continues. Michael Caffarella wearing the number 7 on the back this season, and of course that was the number formerly worn by the 5-year veteran Dan Mantoni, and Dan Mantoni's father, a guest in the press box tonight doing the PA, doing a terrific job. The 2-1 pitch now into Caffarella is waved at and missed. Two balls and 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Milford with a runner at third base. Here's the pitch, and that is a little bit outside, maybe a little bit low, and it fills the count to Caffarella. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's off the end of the bat, hit foul and out of play. Right off the end of the bat of Caffarella. That had good distance traveling deep into foul territory beyond third base. Another 3-2 offering, and this one swung on and missed. Caffarella down on strikes for the second time tonight. It's been a bit of a rough strikeout ratio for Michael Caffarella on the season. striking out now 7 times in 15 total at-bats. But that strikeout, just the first out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Espinette now at the plate. Takes the first pitch for a ball. The infield in all the way around now with 1 out. All 4 infielders right in snug on the grass as the count now goes to 2-0 for Espinette. Another one misses, 3 balls and no strikes. Bryan singled and drove in a run in the 2nd inning. Here is the 3-0 pitch. And Espinette takes all the way and takes a called strike. Kevin Valentine driving in Milford's 4th run in this inning. He now leads off of third base. Here's the 3-1, and it is a chopper foul. The catcher couldn't see it. The pitcher could. It took a high bounce straight up in the air, but ended up arcing foul, landing behind the dirt surrounding home plate. That sends it to a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Espinette settles in. Here is the pitch, and that one fouled away to the backstop. Espinette swinging at ball 4 there. That one was well up and in. He stays in the batter's box. Here is the payoff pitch, and it's another chopper right at the plate. This one again will kick foul. Second time we've seen it in the at-bat. Sending it right off the plate. Bouncing high in the air, but eventually kicking into foul ground. Espinette was most of the way down to first base. He now makes the walk back. Grabs the bat and settles back in on the left side. The set by Alexander Black. Here's the pitch, and it's hit in the air out to left field. Tagging up at third base is Valentine as the catch is made by Shaw. Valentine bluffs, but Shaw, by the time he made that catch, was only about 5 feet from the infield dirt. So Espinette could not drive it deep enough to the outfield for the sacrifice fly. So the 8 and 9 batters in the lineup collecting outs back-to-back, keeping Valentine at third base with now 2 down, and it's up to Andrew McMillan. McMillan has hit the ball hard twice tonight. He singled back in the 1st inning, then lined out hard to left field in the 2nd. Takes the first pitch from Black for strike 1. As this pitch is now lined foul and out of play off to the left. And Black is quickly ahead in the count. Alexander Black with 3 strikeouts so far in his outing. Here is his 0-2, and it's up over the head of McMillan. It sails to the backstop, and in from third base to score comes Kevin Valentine with the 5th Milford run. And so Kevin Valentine had advanced to third base on a wild pitch, and now with 2 outs in the inning, the wild pitch brings him home. Milford able to reestablish a 3-run advantage. Now a 1-2 pitch into Andrew McMillan, and that's a liner out to left center field, down for a hit. Cutting it off quickly is the center fielder, Kevin Quinlivan, and that will hold McMillan to a 2-out single. It's the 2nd hit in the inning for Post 59. They're now up to 6 hits in the game. We'll see if Andrew McMillan is on the move. Black trying to keep him close. He sends a pickoff check over in that direction. But McMillan right back out to a lead with Kevin Lynch in on the right side at the plate. They'll double up on pickoff moves over to first. as Lynch still waits on the first pitch of his at-bat. 0 for 2 so far on the night. The runner takes off as the pitch is up and away for a ball. No throw down from the catcher. An uncontested steal of second base for Andrew McMillan. Milford certainly came into this game with the game plan that they were going to be aggressive on the bases, and it has paid off for them. Maybe getting a piece of scouting information on Alexander Black before the game. Despite having the lefty on the mound, which usually keeps the running game in check, Milford has had one of their best stolen base nights of the season. McMillan now taking off for third, and the throw gets away from the third baseman. Around from third base is Andrew McMillan, and he will score. So there is that running game in action once again. McMillan looking for another stolen base in this inning. He gets it, and then the throw from the catcher gets away from the third baseman, and McMillan scores the 6th Milford run. So it will be a steal for McMillan, and then an error on the catcher that allows the run to score. Kevin Valentine now with a 1-ball, 1-strike count sends a pitch down the third base line foul. Shrewsbury has certainly helped Milford out in terms of their run production in this game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It is lifted in the air, foul over the backstop and out of play. Milford has scored 6 runs so far in this game. They have scored 1 on a balk with a runner at third base. They have scored 1 on a wild pitch with a runner at third base. And now scoring a 3rd run, courtesy of a throwing error by the catcher. It's allowed them now to open up a 4-run lead. Here's a 1-2 pitch into Kevin Lynch, and that's in on the outside corner for a called strike 3. Lynch does not agree with the call. It's the 4th strikeout for Alexander Black, and this one brings an end to the bottom half of the 4th inning, but 3 more runs coming in to score for Post 59. They open up a 6-2 lead over Shrewsbury as we head on to the 5th inning, which you will hear underway next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Kyle Nocera will now have a 4-run lead to work with as he opens up this top half of the 5th inning. It has been a grind for Nocera, but only allowing 2 runs to this point. Now a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Kevin Quinlivan, the center fielder and number 3 hitter, leading off the top of the 5th inning. The 1-1 pitch now popped up, and again this will reach the spectators. A lot of pitches early in this one for Nocera, and again it feels like he has not had quite the same feel for his off-speed pitches that we have seen in his recent outings. He is ahead in the count here, 1-2. Here's the pitch, and that's on the inside edge for a called strike 3, one of the better pitches we have seen tonight. And it allows Nocera to earn his 3rd strikeout. We've often heard Coach DeVito talk about Nocera's arsenal of pitches and how he really likes to lead with those off-speed pitches and then eventually work in the fastball more as the game goes on. But again, those pitches have not always been on his side tonight. He deals in ball 1 now to Matthew Howard, who sends the ball hard on the ground. A diving stab made by Espinette. He gets to his feet and throws to first base for the out. What a play from the second baseman, Brian Espinette. Espinette, one of the taller second basemen you will see in the game, using that frame to his advantage as he dove full out towards the second base bag, just snagged that ball on the way by, scrambled to his feet, and fired to Valentine at first base. What a terrific play. Two outs now, and the base is empty for Alexander Black, who has done the same thing twice so far tonight, and that is strikeout swinging. count now of 1 ball and 1 strike. We already have a couple of strong contenders here on the night for our Stardust Jewelers Diamond Play of the game. That will be awarded later on tonight in our post-game show. It's a 2-1 count now on Black. Here is the pitch, and it is skied foul. It makes its way over the backstop and over the press box for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Black up now, Dan Quinlivan, the catcher, waiting on deck. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it is in on the outside corner for a called strike 3. Black striking out for the 3rd time in the game. 4 strikeouts for Kyle Nocera, who has his best inning by far, a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning. And it remains a 6-2 score for Milford over Shrewsbury Post 397 as you enjoy coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. As we head into the bottom half of the 5th inning, we have seen a pitching change on the Shrewsbury side. Alexander Black striking out to conclude the top half of this inning. He is now out of the game. Replaced on the pitcher's mound by Matthew Jackson, who comes in from second base. As Shrewsbury's second pitcher utilized, replacing Jackson at second defensively, is Anthony Froyo. Alexander Black pitched the first 4 innings of this game for Shrewsbury. He allowed a total of 6 runs on 6 hits to Post 59. But not all of those runs earned. A couple of Shrewsbury errors helping along the Milford cause at the plate tonight. And so Matt DeCina will lead things off for Milford. DeCina, Hill, and Michael Ryan, the 3 batters coming to the plate. DeCina working on an 0-for-2 day. He takes the first pitch high for ball 1. DeCina continuing to maintain the top batting average on the team as he floats this pitch out to second base. And the first chance for Anthony Froyo, and he was able to deny that one from going to the outfield, backpedaling to the edge of the infield dirt, stretching the glove high over his head, and Froyo was able to make the catch on the liner. So DeCina now 0-for-3 as his struggles at the plate continue. Although again, Matt DeCina did have the only Milford hit against Northbridge on Sunday. The 2 big problem spots in the lineup for Milford this season have been these 3 and 4 spots, looking to find batters who can reach a comfort level here in these crucial spots in the lineup. And you take a look tonight, so far these 3-4 hitters combined are 0-for-5. DeCina 0-for-3, Blake Hill 0-for-2 up at the plate now as he sends a chopper towards the shortstop. Waiting for it is Tyler McKeon. He fields and throws, and you can make it now 0-for-6 out of the 3-4 combination of Matt DeCina and Blake Hill. Fortunately for Post 59, the lower spots in the lineup getting it done. Michael Ryan has reached base on a walk in this game and scored a run. Aiden Wild has been on base twice via a single and also an error. Kevin Valentine has had a great day out of the 7th spot, working on a 2-hit day. And Brian Espinette, the number 9 hitter, also with an RBI hit. So it has been these lower spots in the lineup that have gotten it done. Coach DeVito will continue to search for that right 3-4 combination. They will need it come playoff time, should Milford end up making it into the 2015 zone playoffs. Michael Ryan, 3 balls and a strike now as that pitch from Matthew Jackson misses low. Jackson, a right-handed reliever. Ready now with the next pitch that just grabs a piece of the outside part of the plate. 3-2 now the count. The next one on the way, it's hit on the ground again towards second base. Froyo has it. The throw to first base, and it is a very quick 1-2-3 inning in relief for Matthew Jackson. We have completed 5 innings now from Pheno Field. It is Milford 6 and Shrewsbury 2 here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, WMRC First Class Radio. Sturbridge at Wachusett. It was Wachusett coming away with a 12-2 victory. Leominster able to beat North County 7-0. That game with importance for Milford, with North County just behind Milford in the standings. It was East Side over Maine South by a final score of 5-3. Northborough leading Cherry Valley right now 5-0. As Kyle Nocera gets the top half of the 6th inning started and gets a pop-up in foul ground. Off the bat of Dan Quinlivan, fielded in foul ground by the first baseman for the first out of the inning. So Nocera now starting to settle into a groove. He's retired the last 5 batters he's faced, as Matt Bonolo now fouls a pitch away for strike 1. So Framingham's second game as part of their doubleheader, a 7:30 start against Grafton Hill, both of those games taking place at Bowditch Field. We'll try to get an update on that game before the end of the broadcast, as this ball is sent out to left field. Another sinking line drive, but it holds up just long enough for Aiden Wild to come in and make the catch, only about a 1.5 feet above the turf. A line out for Bonolo and 2 quick outs in the inning for Shrewsbury.
You're catching now, okay? Dansky, you're in the game. Dansky, you're like, get over here, dude. Like, there's 2 outs.
Tyler McKeon, the shortstop, taking the first pitch for ball 1. Sarah ready to fire in another. That one also misses. 2 balls and no strikes on the batter, with 2 outs and the bases empty into the late innings of this one. This pitch spoiled foul to bring the count to 2-1. 2 outs deep in the top of the 6th inning. Nocera grabbing 2 very speedy outs. As he now stares in for the sign. He has the one he wants. The wind up and the pitch. It's a breaking ball outside. Continues to be that curveball plaguing Nocera. 3-ball, 1-strike count. As now this is a fastball. Possibly some miscommunication on the count, as the umpire ruling that one a ball, but not taking the base was McKeon. So this is the 3-1 pitch that's sent on the ground to third base. McMillan fields it, fires to first base, so it doesn't end up being a walk. Instead, it ends up being a 5-3 ground out to end the inning and complete the 2nd straight 1-2-3 frame for Kyle Nocera. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It remains Milford 6 and Shrewsbury 2 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on WMRC First Class Radio. So a new second baseman, a new catcher, a new pitcher over the last 2 innings for Shrewsbury. Matthew Jackson finishing his warm-up tosses, ready to begin his 2nd inning of relief. And it was a good inning for Matthew Jackson in the 5th, getting a line out of Matt Tessina, a ground out to shortstop out of Blake Hill, and then a grounder to second base from Michael Ryan for the 1-2-3 inning.
Come on, Matt, let's go. Go, Jackson.
Aiden Wild will lead it off for Milford. followed by Kevin Valentine and Michael Caffarella. As Wild takes the first pitch low. The Milford bench continuing to chatter over on the first base side. Led, as you would expect, by Cole McNana, who is the real spiritual leader over there in the first base dugout. The 1-0 pitch into Wild, and it misses for ball 2, a close pitch. Seen some late calls from the umpire here tonight. The 2-0 pitch that also misses inside. 3 balls and no strikes now to Aiden Wild. Jackson back into his windup. Here is the pitch. That one's in at the knees for a strike. Aiden Wild so far tonight singled, stole a base, and scored a run in the second inning. Reached on an error, stole a base, and scored a run in the fourth. Takes a hack at the 3-1 pitch and lines it to the backstop. Full count now on the starting left fielder. Here is the 3-2 pitch. It's down low for ball 4. So Aiden Wild now on base for the 3rd time in 3 plate appearances. The day off on Sunday doing him some good. So overall, it really feels like Coach DeVito pushed a lot of the right buttons with his lineup construction tonight. Wild at first base to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th. Kevin Valentine, a swinging strike 1 at the plate. No one's been hotter at the plate tonight than Valentine. As this ball is in for a strike, but it kicks out of the glove of Stansky. Ricochets over towards the 3rd base side, and that allows Aiden Wild to reach second base. That should go as a passed ball. The ball was a strike. So the count goes to 0-2 on Kevin Valentine. Possible that the catcher was crossed up on that pitch. He immediately goes out to the mound to talk to Jackson, and now we'll see a coach's visit as well. One of the assistant coaches on the staff for Shrewsbury out to talk to Matthew Jackson, with the catcher also there at the mound. It's a 0-ball, 2-strike count on Kevin Valentine with a runner at second base. No outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Milford has a 4-run lead. Looking to tack on some additional insurance here before we reach the 7th. A lengthy conference at the mound, now finally broken up by the home plate umpire. So again, a 0-ball, 2-strike count on Valentine at the plate. Leaning far over to get the sign is Jackson. Now he comes to the set. Here is his 0-2 pitch, and it's sent foul off to the left off the bat of Valentine. The Marlins have tied things up with the Red Sox, getting a run in the top half of the 3rd inning. It's tied at 1 now, heading into the bottom of the 5th. So not a lot of offense over at Fenway so far. We will be sending you over to Fenway Park for the conclusion of Red Sox baseball once we wrap things up here at Pheno tonight. In the meantime, Kevin Valentine on a 2-2 pitch takes it for a called strike 3, a pitch that looked to be outside. But Jackson gets the benefit of the call. It's the first strikeout for Jackson since entering the game. It's now the 5th strikeout for Shrewsbury pitching. So the first time Shrewsbury's been able to retire Kevin Valentine tonight. So now 1 out in the inning, and instead of Michael Caffarella, Coach DeVito going to the bench, and Drew Wild will take the at-bat. Wild takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. It popped out of the mitt of Stansky, but this time not far enough for the runner to advance. Drew Wild into the game for Caffarella. Mike had been 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And Drew Wild is now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Drew Wild with a .280 batting average. 7 hits in 25 at-bats, sends a pitch foul to bring the count to 2-1. That batting average coming down of late. Wild had spent a good portion of the season up over 400. Drew has 5 runs batted in on the season. He's also walked 9 times. It's the second highest walk total on the team. He lifts a pitch high in the air down the left field line into foul territory and out of play. So Drew Wild with a very good .471 on base percentage. And he's up there now with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the inning. Here's the pitch. And that misses for ball 3. So a full count on the batter, Drew Wild, with a runner at second base as the pitch bounces down and in for ball 4. It gets away, rolls to the backstop, and that will allow Aiden Wild to take third base. A Wild brother at first base, a Wild brother at third base. 1 out in the inning. It is the younger Wild as the lead runner at third, Aiden Wild. And it's now Brian Espinette at the plate. Espinette takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. Walks getting Jackson into trouble this inning. He's walked a pair now. And again, we see a meeting taking place on the pitcher's mound between pitcher and catcher. Brian Espinette tonight, an RBI single in the second inning. He flew out to shallow left field in the 4th and has also made an outstanding defensive play at second base. He sends a slow roller up the middle, a diving attempt made by the second baseman Froyo, but the ball trickles away behind the second base bag. Everyone is safe, and in from third base to score comes Aiden Wild, giving Milford an insurance run now as they take a 7-2 lead. It was not a routine play by any means. It would likely go down as a single for Espinette and an error to allow the run to score. So Milford with yet another unearned run. Runners at first and second base, still 1 out. A first pitch strike issued into Andrew McMillan as we go 4th time through the Milford lineup. We barely made it 3 times through the Milford lineup on Sunday night. In fact, we only made it about halfway through that 3rd trip through the lineup as another pitch sails in low and kicks away from the catcher to allow the runners once again to advance. The control wavering for Matthew Jackson in the 6th inning after a very strong 1-2-3 5th inning. We've seen him walk 2 batters. Now we see him send in his 2nd wild pitch of the inning, and this will allow Drew Wild to move up to 3rd, Brian Espinette down to 2nd. As now Andrew McMillan sends a pitch in the air out to right center field. In comes Casey Boudreau on the dive, but he cannot make the catch. And around to score comes Drew Wild with the 8th Milford run. That was a catchable ball for Casey Boudreau. Not even sure if the dive was necessary. If he had just taken another running step, he may have been able to make the catch on his feet, but instead chose to dive. and as his body hit the turf, the ball ricocheted loose. It results in another run for Milford, and again they have runners at the corners. So credit the Milford offense for a bounce-back day here tonight, but Shrewsbury has also given them some considerable help with some shaky defense, some control issues on the pitcher's mound. And it's now an 8-2 lead for Post 59, still one out in the bottom of the 6th inning as now Kevin Lynch drives a pitch out to center field. That's down for a base hit. And coming around from third base to score is Brian Espinette, opening up a 9-2 lead.
Now the shortstop, Matt Decina.
So Lynch is able to get his first hit of the game. Also drives in a run. Milford has scored 3 times so far in the inning. They now have Andrew McMillan at second base with Kevin Lynch at first. The 7th batter coming up in the inning, it's Matt Decina. He takes the first pitch for a called strike. Decina looking for his first hit tonight. He takes a pitch outside, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Jackson to the set. Here's his pitch, and it's in the air down the left field line, but foul and out of the reach of the Shrewsbury defenders. Milford has scored their runs in 3s so far on the night. 3 runs scored in the 2nd, 3 runs in the 4th. They've scored 3 times so far here in the 6th, but still just 1 out in the inning. But Matt Decina popping this pitch up foul down the third base line, an attempt for Matt Bonolo, but he cannot make the catch. It was third baseman, catcher, and pitcher all converging just in front of the third base dugout. Bonolo sticking the glove out, trying to make the catch. It was in his glove, but bounced loose. Nothing going right for Shrewsbury as this game has gone along. Here's a 1-2 pitch as Decina gets another chance. It's outside. And now even the return throw from the catcher was offline. It sent the pitcher Jackson lunging for it. Another 2-2 pitch, and this one is foul and out of play. Blake Hill waiting in the on-deck circle. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Decina, 1 out. McMillan at second, with Lynch at first as this pitch is lined out to center field, but hanging up for Kevin Quinlivan to make the catch. And there is the 2nd out in the inning, so we did see some decent contact over the course of this game for Decina, but he will end up taking the 0 for 4. It holds the runners at first and second base with 2 outs in the inning, and Blake Hill now coming to the plate. Blake Hill also looking to avoid the 0 for performance. Every batter in the Milford lineup has reached base in this game with the exception of Matt Decina and Blake Hill, those 3-4 batters. Blake Hill a chance to reach here if he can come through with a hit. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. He'd also take the walk. We've seen a pair of walks so far in this inning for Matthew Jackson, who's now falling behind Blake Hill, 3 balls and no strikes. Jackson to the set. Here is the 3-0 pitch, and that's in for a strike. Blake Hill, no inclination to swing, ahead 3-0. Now readies himself for the 3-1 pitch. He hits it on the ground to second base, fielded by Anthony Froyo. He throws to first base for the out that ends the inning. But another 3-spot hung on the scoreboard for Milford Post 59, and they will carry a 9-2 lead over Shrewsbury into the top half of the 7th inning. We will see the 7th unfold when we come back after this commercial break. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on WMRC First Class Radio. Back here once again on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on WMRC First Class Radio. A 9-2 lead for Milford as we enter into the 7th inning, and a series of changes for Post 59 as we enter into this top half of the 7th inning. Now catching for Milford is number 25, Tyler Monahan. Into the game for Blake Hill in right field is number 5, Cole McNana. And on to pitch for Post 59. Looking to close this one out with the 7-run lead, it is number 21, Michael Farrell, taking over for Nocera after he battled his way through 6 innings. It was a struggle really from the 2nd inning through the 4th inning for Nocera, but battled back nicely in the 5th and 6th, ended up with 2 strikeouts in the 5th inning as he overall retired the final 7 batters he faced in the game. So now Michael Farrell, who of course was the hero of that game here at Pheno Field back on July 1st, inheriting a bases loaded, no out situation with Milford leading East Side 5-1, and Farrell was able to strike out back-to-back batters and then induce a pop-up in foul ground that he caught himself to end the game and earn the save. He's ahead now of the first batter he faces here in the 7th, Matthew Jackson, by a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now fires in a pitch that just misses, so it evens the count at 2-2. The windup and the pitch down in the dirt. A chance for Farrell to get some more work. We have not seen a whole lot of the Milford bullpen lately. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a chopper back towards the mound, fielded by Farrell. He will fire to first base to record the first out of the inning. The number 9 hitter, Matthew Jackson, out on the 1-3 grounder. Farrell overall on the season, this is now his 3rd appearance on the pitcher's mound. No record. He's pitched a total of an inning and a third. Heading into action tonight, allowing 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Faced 6 batters prior to this appearance. Does not have an ERA, a 0 ERA for Farrell. And he fires in a called strike 1 to Sam Shaw, the leadoff batter. Shaw working on a 2-for-3 day, a single and a run scored in the 3rd. He reached on an infield single in the 4th. And now a bouncer in, and another high bounce right around the mound, right around the home plate area, I should say. Two balls and 1 strike, the count on Shaw. 2 away, 1 away in the inning. A 9-2 lead for Post 59. The crowd quiet here at the moment. The Milford fans anticipating a victory. But now a 3-ball, 1 strike count on Shaw. The look in by Farrell. He now winds and fires, and the pitch is hit hard on the ground through the left side of the infield. And the good day at the plate continues for Sam Shaw, now 3 for 4. Gives Milford, or I should say it gives Shrewsbury a little bit of life in this inning. As now we will see a pinch hitter come up. Parker Brown batting for Casey Boudreau. As the runner takes off for second base, he will head down there on the defensive indifference. Milford not concerned with the base runner, again up by 7 runs. As now the pitch dips in low, 2 balls and no strikes the count to the pinch hitter Parker Brown. Just finished up his sophomore season at St. John's. And this pitch skips in once again, 3 balls and no strikes the count. A runner leading off of second base for Shrewsbury. Reaching on the 1-out single. And now the 3-0 pitch as the runner takes off, and that is on the outside edge for a generous strike call. Farrell gets the benefit of a wide outside part of the plate to bring the count to 3-1. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a called strike 2. The runner now at third base taking off on that previous pitch. So Shaw now at third with 1 out in the inning. And a 3-2 count now on the batter, Parker Brown. The right-handed batter pinwheeling the bat over the plate now settles in. Here is the payoff pitch, and Brown reaches out and pokes that one foul, sending some fans scattering on the bleachers behind the first base dugout. And it stays a 3-2 count as Brown continues to work hard in this at-bat. Another pitch on the way from Farrell, and it's swung on and missed for strike 3. Chased a pitch that would likely have been ball 4. But Brown a strikeout victim. Shrewsbury down to their last out. That's now the 6th strikeout for Milford pitching, the first 5 credited to Kyle Nocera. As Farrell now gets a waving swing and a miss from Kevin Quinlivan for strike 1 in the at-bat. Kyle Nocera in line to pick up his team-leading 4th victory. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's just outside. A 1-1 count on the left-handed batting Kevin Quinlivan, who grounded out to first base, was hit by a pitch and has struck out looking. So officially 0 for 2. Here now is the 1-1 pitch. That's in for a called strike. Shrewsbury down to their final strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. The Milford bench starting to rise to their feet as Michael Farrell looks in for the sign from Monahan. He has it. Here is the 1-2 pitch, and it is just fought off foul. And we will do it again. It stays a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Milford trying to bring an end to a very difficult 2-game losing streak. In line to do so here. Another 1-2 pitch, and it's hit in the air out to left field. Backpedaling is Aiden Wild. He now settles underneath and makes the catch, and Milford post 59 wins the ball game. They do indeed bring an end to that 2-game losing streak. They bounce back with a strong effort here tonight against a very tough team in Shrewsbury Post 397. Milford wins it by a final score of 9-2. The victory will go to Kyle Nocera. The loss goes to Alexander Black. And a big night for the bottom half of the Milford lineup getting it done. They needed some key at-bats to finally break them out of their offensive slump, and they got those here tonight as they defeat Shrewsbury by a final score of 9-2.
When I was on first, the coach gave me the steal sign. I read it off the pitcher's arm, got a good jump, and then when I was on second, coach gave me the handout, which is basically like a freebie, like if I want to go, I can go. And I did, and luckily when the catcher threw down, it was a pass ball, so I saw it behind me, I just jumped, went home. We basically had the same approach this game that we had the last couple of games. Just the bats weren't really falling through with us for the last couple of games, but tonight we really got back to ourselves and hit line drives all over the field. Being this is my 4th year playing, I just have to step up and basically before every game just tell everyone that we need to get in game mode and I mean, with Mantoni not being here, Sampson, Avery, those were the kids that really spoke out last year and the year before and the year before that. So now they're all gone. It's very different, but I like the role that I have now, so it's nice. Yeah, that's what I basically do. I just talk to them before the game and get them in game mode, and that's what I do, yeah.
Cool.